Oh, I have an interesting video for you today, my friends. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. I saw this video from Brandon, and he talks about another channel. He talks about, and when I say Brandon, I'm referring to this man right here. He mentions another channel, so I go and check out this other channel talking about a specific topic. And it was this man, Perry Stone. Now, of course, I can't vouch for Perry Stone. I don't know if he's a good guy or not. I've heard things, good and bad. I'm not going to say what, I don't know. I don't know the dude. I'm not vouching for his ministry here or something like that. But he did say he had a source. So he has a lot of people that tell things to him, that gather information, right? And one of his sources happened to see something on the dark, of course, web. And this source also happened to predict something else correctly in the recent past, okay? And it's related to the exact same thing. So what we're talking about, you remember that IT outage? What was that, like a month ago? I can't remember when that was. I got it open around here somewhere. No, that was actually the stock market crash in Japan. Where's the IT? I can't remember. The IT outage is like a month ago or something like that. I thought I had something open. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, this is weird. They're still talking about it. They're still talking about it today, man. This is like 11 hours ago. They're still making articles on this from like a month ago, right? It was a month ago. Yeah, a month ago. Here we go. Yeah, it was a month ago. So, okay. So apparently this person, that's one of his sources, that goes and scours the dark, of course, web, happened to find someone who gives out certain information. And this person said that on the day of the IT outage, prior to it happening, told people not to buy a plane ticket, don't travel on this day. Travel on the day before or the day after. Now, this exact same source on the dark, of course, web also said that there's going to be a 3-week period without, of course, power coming up between August and the end of November. This is what he's now saying. This is his latest prediction. Now, of course, you could say, oh, that's just a guy. It's a source. We don't know if this is all true. But what's really curious about it is I had a dream about 1.5 years ago about the year of 2024. And so far, the dreams come true. Everything about the dreams come true. And the latter part of the dream is around the summertime onward. And I cross a street in the dream. It's a nice summer day. I start to walk up a hill. And I see a Dunkin' Donuts at the top of the hill. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Dunkin' Donuts. And as soon as I start going towards the Dunkin' Donuts, all of a sudden, the power goes out. And it's dark outside and the power's out. I open the door. I look in. There's a bunch of people in there just kind of laughing about the fact there's no power. I'm like, okay, there's no power. I'm not going to go in there. So then I walk over to the parking lot. There's like this lean-to. There's like some sort of thing with a covering. And I'm standing under it trying to use my phone. And my phone ain't working too well. I'm like, what the heck? I can't even use my phone. And I look around the city and I can tell, and I'm kind of up on a hill a little bit. And I can look through the city a little bit. And I notice the city's pretty much got no power in most areas. There's some places that have power. And then I'm thinking about that now, today. And I'm like, could this be related to what this guy's saying? Could this be this exact same thing that I saw in my dream? Now, I'm not the only one who had this dream. Apparently, this dude also had a dream about it. Okay? About there being power, of course, outages. And he said it would be 3 weeks also. Just like this dude on the dark, of course, web. So to me, this seems interesting. This seems like something to explore. This could be something legitimate to think about and be prepared for, obviously. Because if it does happen, that would suck. 3 weeks without, power, that's a decent amount of time. Over across the entire, United States, that's pretty brutal, right? Obviously, your refrigerator is going to have to be emptied. That's an obvious one. But of course, there are going to be places with power because they have Generacs. Now, that's why I bought one this year. I actually bought a Generac this year and had it installed because of my dream. Okay? I actually have one here, so I'll have power, assuming it works correctly. Assuming I still got everything else coming in other than electricity. Yeah, so I have one. I know a lot of restaurants have them. I know a lot of locations, businesses have them. Not everybody does. Obviously, a lot of people don't have them. There are a couple here and there that have them. a decent amount of businesses have them. I'd say probably at least half the businesses out there probably got Generacs or something like that, or generators. So, I mean, it's not like there won't be any power anywhere. But the thing people don't think about is you can't really pump gas when you have no power. That's another thing people don't think about, right? So there's that factor as well. Will you be able to get gas? Well, maybe if the gas station has a Generac. Well, who knows? I mean, there's a lot of links to this whole thing. There's semis that have to drive to give the gas, right? And those semis have to get the gas themselves, and maybe their company doesn't have a Generac or doesn't have a generator. It's just how far does it go out? You know, will the internet work? Well, some of the internet work. I don't even know. I haven't even thought about that. If you have no power for 3 weeks, how many companies have Generacs? How far does the link go out there? You know, does Verizon or Frontier have them? And I mean, can they cover everything, or can they only have a limited amount? Maybe they only can have limited internet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how it'd work, right? I don't know what would happen. And maybe there would be no internet. I don't know what would happen. So it's something to think about, right? This is not a small matter. And it's like when I had no power for 2 weeks back, I was like 2005 or something. I could just drive to my parents' house. They had it still, right? So after like a few days, I got sick of it. I'm like, dude, this sucks. I'm just sitting here in the dark or whatever. I'm going to just drive to my parents' house, right? So, you can't really do that in this case, especially if everyone's like this, right? And the entire, of course, country is like this. Then you can't drive anywhere except for maybe Canada, but maybe they won't let you in. I don't know, man. Maybe Canada won't have it either. I don't know. Who knows? So this is something to think about. Obviously, and we're going to get into a ton of stuff in this video. I'm going to get into a lot more and how this ties into another thing I've talked about before, Another Man's Dream from 1980. We'll get into that as well. First, I got to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. Mega 3-month food supply. They have a new package, bigger and better than the old one. It costs $750, $350, $300 off from the retail price. And of course, this is actually a decent price considering how expensive everything is today. It costs one person for 1 month's worth of food easily $400 bucks, easy, bare minimum. And this is $750 for 3 months worth. All right, so this is almost half the price that it would cost you for food for a month, for 3 months worth of food at Walmart or Kroger. So link is in the description. Go check it out. You definitely want to get that if you don't have it already. Also, this book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, How to Build a Cellar, Do Things Around the House Like They Did in the Good Old Days, hundreds of pages illustrated. You're going to want to get the printed version, obviously. Link is in the description. It's like $37 plus shipping. Like I said, it's not easy to get this book. Very few people sell this. I'm about the only one on YouTube, I think, it sells it. I don't think you can buy this in Walmart or anything. This is not a product that's available in the store either. Link is in the description for that. And also, you might want to get yourself prepared for if something, you know, in other ways too, maybe even a generator or something. It's a good idea. I mean, I know generators are expensive. You can get small generators, you can get big generators. I got like this big, huge battery. I have a generator and I have something separate. I have this big I have this massive battery with the solar panels too, but that would only cover like a little bit of power, like maybe enough for like, you know, your phone, your TV, your computers, or something like that. Maybe like you could use it just to run one thing, maybe like a sump pump, or maybe, I don't even know if you could run something big with it. Maybe you could run like, I don't even know if you could run maybe a small air conditioner or something like that with it, but you can't run a lot of stuff on something like that. So you have to get something like a Generac if you want like, you know, real power, right? Which could cover the whole house or something like that. So at any rate, you should think about something like that. I don't have any links for any of that stuff, but you can easily find that stuff online. Also check out my website, GR Videos. I got tons of videos over there. I have my dream over here on this, on my channel or my website, GR Videos. I talked about this dream like a year and a half ago over there, and it's been coming true. Now, what's interesting is there's a lot of other things happening around us that kind of tie into all this. So that guy that was from the dark, of course, web, told people not to fly on the day of the IT outage, right? And who was behind that? It was CrowdStrike, right? Now, CrowdStrike is owned by Vanguard and BlackRock. What's also interesting is during the Japanese stock market crash, which was like about 10 days ago now, they had outages also. And it was Vanguard, Outage, Schwab, Fidelity. Financial sites including Schwab, Fidelity, and Vanguard experienced outages as stocks decline when they had the Japanese stock market crash. Now, what's interesting is we have 100% evidence, we're talking mathematical, financial evidence right here, of a stock market crash coming. This graph proves it. This is from a financial channel here on YouTube called Heresy Financial. He's sort of a friend of mine. His name's Joe Brown. Not exactly. We talk here and there. I know him sort of. So basically here, you got all the stock market crashes in gray, as you see here. And every time, this is the 10-year Treasury versus the 2-year Treasury. And you can see the yield curve. Every time it uninverts and goes up above this black line, there's a stock market crash. So it's below the line, goes up, stock market crash. Below the line, goes up, stock market crash. Below the line, goes up, stock market crash, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As you can see, even here, it dipped down below the black line, went up, stock market crash in 2020. Now, guess where we're at? We're underneath the black line again. We're going up again. We're almost to the line. Guess what happens? Stock market crash. And if these websites just go out, whoops, your 401k goes poof. Your $50,000 in your 401k gone because the stock market crashed and their website went down at the exact same time. Whoops. We're sorry for the outage exactly when you needed to sell your stock off. Sorry about that. This is what I'm talking about. So you might want to think about that as well. There's another factor. You have a stock market crash coming as well. Mathematically, it's just inevitable. It happens every single time according to the math and the graphs. So that's something to think about. So this happened. Now, what's interesting about this whole power, outage thing is I covered this back in 2022. We had in Tacoma, Washington, 4 power substations that mysteriously got, of course, hacked, and there was no power. Now, of course, I talked about it way back when, and I showed how 30 miles north of there, you get to the Canadian border. And right across there, right directly north, there was some exercises going on with the Chinese 30 miles north of that. And I thought to myself, maybe this is a test. Test for something much bigger, right? I said that back over a year ago. It was about a year and 8 months now. And of course, what's interesting also is we had something happen in Cuba. You remember that whole thing with the submarines? That was recent. What was that? That was, where is that? And we got a lot of stuff to cover. Actually, I should show you this too first. By the way, hacks and things of that coming towards the power grid have been happening at a much higher rate than in recent years. Okay, this is from March 2023. This is article. There was 163 attempts in 2023. Okay, so that's something to think about. Now, getting over to, I was going to show you something. What was I going to show you? I was going to talk about, brain's not working now. I was talking about what happened in Tacoma, Washington, and then I mentioned about the power. Oh, yeah, okay. I was going to talk about the Cuban thing. So, where is that at? I got like a million windows again. Cuban, where are you at? Yeah, here we are. I found it. Okay. So we had this happen back in June 12th of this year. We had the Ruslans, that's what I call them, the Ruslans, reach Cuban waters ahead of exercises in the Caribbean. And of course, our own GOV said that they probably gave them something, maybe some equipment. We had reports of that as well. What kind of equipment, do you ask, Johnny? I don't know. Maybe something that could cause disturbances with power. I don't know. Who knows what it is? You had, of course, the president of the Ruslans going there, going to Cuba via the submarine. Of course, it wasn't him directly. He wasn't literally there, but obviously sending his own envoy there and dropping something off. Got some handshaking going on. You know what I mean? And like I said, who are the Ruslans working with? China. And what did China do? Potentially, back at the end of 2022, I showed you 30 miles north of these power substations. And China's got some of the best, of course, hackers. People don't even know this. They have the largest teams of them. So it makes sense that could very easily be connected. I don't know. But could this be what's coming, of course, next, my friends? Could this be it? Could this man, who is own apparent researcher, found this stuff on the dark, of course, web, and maybe it's true. Maybe we'll have 3 weeks, of course, without power. I guess we'll see if that will indeed happen or not. But my dream seems to line up with it. Apparently, Brandon also had a dream about it, and it seems to line up with what they're saying as well. So that's kind of strange. Seems a little too coincidental for me to just sit back and not do anything. That's why I bought a Generac myself. But they're not cheap anymore. They used to be cheap. If you would have bought one 4 or 5 years ago, they were a lot cheaper. Now it's just like ridiculous. I think it's like $20K or something like that. Like, you can maybe get one cheaper, but I don't know how much cheaper you can go than that. Depends on the size of your house. Maybe you can get one at $10K even. I don't know. But they used to be a lot cheaper. Okay, back 4, 5, 10 years ago, they were a lot cheaper. So they're getting more and more expensive at any rate. So getting into some other stuff. I mean, there's also smaller generators. You can buy the gas-powered ones. But again, gas-powered, right? Like, I mean, gasoline. We don't know if the gas pumps will work. That's another thing to consider. I mean, even if they do work, let's say they have a Generac at the gas station. Even if they do work, can the semis bring the new gas? That's another thing. I don't know about that either. So there's like a lot of factors to all this. And then you have to ask yourself, what about natural gas and other propane and things like that? How long can you run that, without actual electricity? There's a lot of factors involved. At any rate, so you get the idea. Also, of course, I wanted to get into, I talked about the Rev, 12 sign, how this indicated where we're at. This was interesting. We're looking into this. A lot of people didn't actually fully look into this. I saw something other people didn't see with regards to that whole topic. They all saw the woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, the garland of 12 stars. This is from chapter 12 of Revelation. Then being with child, right? They didn't see this part. A lot of them didn't see, and another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great fiery red dragon having 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 diadems on the heads. That was also in the exact same constellational, of course, alignment right here, because the word dragon is serpent. And this constellation is called Serpens. Okay, and he has 7 stars in the head. He's well known to be 2 pieces. This serpent's well known to have 2 pieces, the head and the tail. The head has 7 stars in it. The tail has 10 stars in it. So in the scripture, it says 7 heads and 10 horns. Could the term horn be tail? 10 stars in the tail, 7 stars in the head. Also, it says he has 7 crowns. Well, this crown, this corona borealis here, has 7 stars in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stars in the corona borealis. Of course, this was back in 2017, 3 years before the happened, by the exact same name. I don't think that's a coincidence whatsoever. I think that was intentional because they read, of course, the stars. Now, of course, you also had this back in 2015. You had the blood moon tetrad, and you had it all mirror exactly on 1/5/15, 1/5/2015. They all mirrored by days. 90 days back to 10/8/14, 90 days forward to 4/4/15, 266, 266, and it's not only that, you even have down here, all of it mirroring perfectly. That was a significant day for something. 1/5/15 was a very significant day. We had, of course, what happened end of last year, the asteroid eclipsing the red giant star Betelgeuse. Beetlejuice, of course, the movie Beetlejuice is now out in theaters. I don't think that's a coincidence either. Beetlejuice is this orange star here in the sky. This star is the power of Orion. Beetlejuice is the power of Orion. His power is in his right arm, just like in the movie The Eternals. His power was in his right arm. This is Gilgamesh or Orion. Orion is actually based on the Epic of Gilgamesh. Orion is Gilgamesh, is Nimrod. So the power of Gilgamesh, which is Beetlejuice, is in the right arm, as you saw in this movie with the character Gilgamesh in the movie The Eternals. So what's going on here is the power has been eclipsed by an asteroid, which indicates Gilgamesh's power or essentially Gilgamesh represents sort of he's like the antithesis of Jesus, okay? And you can even see this in Scripture. Even in the Old Testament, it talks about the Messiah versus Gilgamesh or Nimrod. And they're like direct competition, right? So he sort of represents the devil, all right? That's who he represents. So Orion represents the devil in the flesh, basically. And it says that his power was eclipsed via this asteroid in December 11th of 2023, which indicates that the age that we're going into, because we're actually at the end of the age of Horus, or the Ona of Horus, and it's going into the age of Goshen, or the Ona of Goshen. Ona is the term that was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, referring to 500-year periods of time. If you look at the book of Esther, you have an example of that right here. You can see here, during the time of Esther, they were changing from one Ona to a new Ona, a 500-year time frame. They had the exact same solar eclipses that we have in 2024. Exact. In 480 BC. Notice the dates: March 25th, April 8th, September 18th, October 2nd. All the exact time frame, meaning that we are in the end of an age. At any rate, this is the type of stuff I cover on my other channel. So this whole concept of the dragon, we saw it with the Rev 12, sign. We saw this red dragon here, which is a serpent in Greek, ancient Greek, right here. Now, what's interesting about this with the dragon is we had a chapter removed from the book of Esther called Mordecai's Dream. It was removed and put in the Apocrypha, and it talks about we're talking dragons vying for, of course, power, over the world. That's basically what the dream was about. And we also had the story of King Arthur and Merlin, where Merlin had a dream. Actually, I think it was King Arthur had the dream and Merlin interpreted it. King Arthur had the dream of two dragons fighting, a red dragon, like we see in Revelation, and a white dragon, the white dragon being the good dragon. The white dragon prevailed. This was around the time of 518 AD. The white dragon was the Saxons. The red dragon was Wales. The Saxons prevailed, and the Saxons set up the Middle Ages for 1,000 years. The white dragon had two Onas, or 200, 500-year periods of time, the Middle Ages. And then after that, we came to King Henry VII. If you look at the crest of King Henry VII, he has a red dragon on it and a white dog. And he is when it changed from the white dragon back to the red dragon, and we've been under the red dragon for 500 years. And now I believe it's coming to an end. And I think the red dragon wants another 500 years, but I don't believe he's going to get it because of what I showed you with the eclipse of Beetlejuice by an asteroid back on December of last year. Now, of course, this is all esoteric. You can be like, what are you talking about, dude? I'm sure a lot of people, not a lot of people, some people are probably going to be thinking that way. But this stuff all correlates. It all matches up. And it's really interesting. It's looking into ancient manuscripts and stuff like that, which is what I do on my other channel. Now, interestingly, around a little bit after the time of King Arthur, 536 AD is when they had a massive volcanic eruption, and it covered the sky for 18 months. It was dark for 18 months. So you have a lot of turbulent things that happen during the end of an age, beginning of a new age, because of a power, potential balance or change, and a lot of things are happening, right? And so what do I mean by this? The red dragon, white dragon? Well, it's the people choose. If your mind is in the gutter, your mind's in the wrong place, don't be surprised if you have the red dragon over you again, right? If your mind is a little bit better off, it's doing a little better, you're figuring out what's going on here, you're probably on the side of the white dragon, okay? You know what I mean? So it comes down to the people and who they choose, in a sense. It's like, who are you going to choose as a king over you spiritually? You want the red dragon or you want the white dragon? And of course, this has all been taken and hidden because, of course, they even removed one chapter from a book that's in scripture, the last chapter. And like, why would they remove one chapter? It doesn't even make any sense. And it's about two dragons fighting. And it's about power, of course, over, the world. That's what it's all about. So it's just kind of curious and interesting. And of course, in the time of Esther, it actually went from the red dragon to the white dragon because Esther saved Israel. That was the entire point behind it. But Anyway, you get the idea. And like I said, some people, this is a business channel, so they're like, what are you talking about, man? Yeah, so that's some of the stuff you see on my other channel. I don't usually talk about it over here as much, but I wanted to talk about, of course, what this man said. He had a source telling him there's going to be 3 weeks. I don't know if it will happen, but honestly, with 2 people, me and another dude, and a guy gets things right a lot, saying they had a dream about this, and then this guy has a source saying that's going to happen, and the source also predicted the IT outage, I think it might be worth listening to, okay? I think it might be worth preparing for. Even if we're wrong, let's say it's only 1 week. I didn't say how long it was. These guys did. I don't even know how long it is. My dream has just showed power, out. I don't, who knows? Let's just say it's only 1 week. It's better to be prepared. Let's say it's next year, not this year. It's always wise to be prepared. Why would you want to not be prepared? You have no cash on hand. You got like no generator. You got like nothing. You're just sitting at home 3 weeks with nothing. Sounds great. I'd be prepared. Anyway, so that's my video. I kind of want some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.